gets mad at me. Something is wrong with my Instagram. I'll follow people and then it'll unfollow.
Oh,
And
that's
I'm
weird.
not like I have time to do that. I don't even know how to do it.
How
It just
interesting.
does it.
Oh, I'm gonna go share this on my page.
Take your time. Tell me when you're ready. I'm going to turn off my camera for a sec
Okay.
because it wants to do that flashing. I don't want to flash people.
You don't want to flash people?
Yeah, that was the 60s and the 70s.
Well, now it's classy to flash people, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Okay, I
Um,
share. So we're gonna see. Now I'm gonna go and share this also to my story. And
Thank you.
oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
You're awesome. Most people don't do what all you are doing, and you've only been here like 2 minutes. You're already better
Oh,
than
you're
all the
so
rest.
kind.
Oh my gosh, Facebook people,
Are
you'll
we here?
see, huh?
Are we here? We're here. Okay, Facebook sees us.
We are live, the
We're
two of us
live.
together like it should be.
Like
You
it should be.
guys,
Just the two of us.
it's the two of us. She,
Linda.
um, okay, pronoun.
I know everybody asks automatically. I'm just a he, him who looks like a her, it, hooker,
Super.
whatever.
What am I? I hope
You're
I'm a
fabulous.
dame. I'm a broad.
You're a broad, and you know what? I love the term broad. It's actually one of my favorites. I aspire to be a broad. I mean, I don't know if a man can classify as a broad. I think so. Men can classify. Everybody can classify as anything.
Yes. Well, Facebook people, you got a treat for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Comic Spot. And go to my YouTube and click subscribe. It's comedian Linda Marcus Smith. That's it. That's the only thing I want to say. I just am so stoked today. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
one toke over the line. Sweet Jesus on this one. Oh, honey. I'm going to do my impression of her. I'm just kidding. So of him. Now listen here. I will get pronouns wrong and I don't mean anything by it. Just
I
ignore me.
I don't, here's the thing. I come from the South, so that's where everybody gets everything wrong. So I don't care. I don't care. I am so, I just tell everybody, call me whatever. My niece and my nephew have the cutest little nickname for me. And, they call me bitch. So no,
I love it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
I bet they think you're the best thing since sliced bread.
I think they kind of think I'm like an alien, because the rest of my siblings are rather square and I'm not square.
Not.
Well, no,
I enjoy you. I enjoy you so very much. And you have just come to Vegas and you have blown the city apart.
oh,
I know that Seth Robichaux,
Robichaux,
Robichaux is going to
like,
have his own very own show at a major casino very soon. I just
oh,
know
that
it.
is so kind. You were so sweet to say that. I really appreciate it.
You've
Really.
got to have your own, what do they call it?
I
Residence.
rest like Adele.
Uh-huh. You're gonna have that. I'm gonna see you on billboards.
Oh, bless you. That is so kind of you to say. Well, I love performing. So it's like this is the best city to be doing it in. And I just moved here 2 months ago and it's been so much fun. I love this city and I have so many, my life is just so full of surprises nonstop. I mean, and it's just so much fun.
Yes, and you're a good person and you share. You even
Oh,
gave me a little line to say on stage. I mean,
what did we say? We said you looked like if Betty Davis and who was the other person?
Elton John.
Elton John had a love child, which is great because I look like Liza Minnelli and Elvis had a love child.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking I had those pair of glasses with the red lenses. I was
Uh,
thinking of saying, I know Elton John, but Betty Davis eyes.
yes, well, I think it's great to have Betty Davis eyes. I mean, my God, she had gorgeous eyes.
She did. Her eyes were her greatest asset.
Asset, yes, they were that and her acting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Fabulous.
gosh.
I love the old movies. I mean, really, they are just I mean, I grew up on them,
Mhm.
and a lot of my inspirations are from the old movies, which is actually part of my story of how I'm here. So,
I want to hear your inspiration from old movies because I don't know if you can tell I'm old.
well, my inspiration actually has to do with this background because so long story, well, it probably won't be a short one. So long story. My inspiration growing up, ever since I've probably been about 9 years old, was Debbie Reynolds. Love Debbie Reynolds. That's actually her right there. And there's a story to this whole background, so just stay with me.
Mhm.
And so long story again, not short. I grew up loving her. I saw her in a film she did called The Unsinkable Molly Brown,
Yes,
which
I love that
oh,
show. Oh my gosh.
oh,
Yes.
isn't it a fabulous film? She's so great in it. And that was really the first time for me that anything ever clicked. Like I was like, I love this woman. I want to do what she does. Like she had the singing and the acting and the comedy. Like she just had it all.
Yeah, but, and the dancing.
And the dance, oh, she's an incredible dancer. I mean, really just the best. I mean, dance with Gene Kelly, Fred Astaire. I mean, she's just fabulous. And so she was my inspiration. And then come to find out, which I'm sure a lot of people who are comedians and a lot of people who are in Vegas know this, she was really the headliner of Vegas for the whole through the 70s and 80s. She was there with the Rat Pack and everybody. And in the 60s too, she was there with everybody, you know, Sammy Davis and Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. And she was up there with them as a headliner. And I loved her. When I was about maybe a few years later after I'd seen The Unsinkable Molly Brown, which got me to want to start doing musical theater. That's when I started doing musical theater. Well, a few years down the road, I saw her a recorded, not live, but I never had that pleasure. But I saw a recorded version of her nightclub act that she did for years here in Vegas. I mean, literally until she was 82 years old. And I loved it because she had everything that I do. She did singing, she did stand-up comedy, she did dancing, and she did impressions, which I do impressions as well. I love to do impressions. And so she was really my inspiration. And I mean, I tell you, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed already, and I'm only 22. That's the crazy part. I'm only 22, and
Wow.
I
Wow. You have such an old soul.
I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but if it was a thing, I swear I have been here before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so and so anyway, I did musical theater growing up, and I done it since I'm about 12 years old, I guess. And then when I was about 18 years old, and again, like I said, I just have some, I believe in God, and I always say whatever you believe in, believe it and believe in yourself with it. And I believe in God, and I just have been so blessed by God because I mean, this is just divine guidance. And what happened was when I was 17, I graduated from high school, and my mom took me on a trip to Los Angeles because I wanted to see Hollywood, and I wanted to see, where I was going to be one day because I wanted to entertain there. And so we go out to Hollywood. Well, we didn't go yet. We had booked the tickets. And then just as we were booking the tickets, this is right after, about 2 years after Debbie Reynolds passed away, right after her daughter Carrie. And Debbie's daughter-in-law, who is named, which a lot of your viewers probably know her name is Catherine Hickland, and she was on many successful soap operas through the years. One Life to Live. She was on Knight Rider in the 80s. And she's been on Broadway in Les Mis, and now she is a celebrity hypnotist. And she's fabulous. And she was doing a show. It just so happened the weekend that we were going to be in Los Angeles. And she's married to Debbie Reynolds' son, Todd Fisher, who is an amazing cinematographer and director and producer, and he's just fantastic. And he had just written a book about his mother and sister. This is back in 2018. And so it just turned out that they were going to be there. He was going to be there for a book signing while she was when she was doing her show at the same night, at the same venue in North Hollywood. So we get there, and I said, well, let's go. it just so happens that they're here. Let's go. So we go, and I got to meet them after Catherine did her, Cat is what I call her, did her show. And her hypnosis show is brilliant, fabulous, hilarious. She is so great on stage. It's not even funny. So to all your followers, go check her out. Comedy Hypnosis. She's the only celebrity hypnotist, Catherine Hicklin. She's amazing. And so I met them after the show, and we kind of hit it off. Kat and I especially really just kind of hit it off. So we became friends on Facebook. And when the pandemic hit, now we're in 2020, they started doing their own talk show on Facebook and through her channel. And then I started doing my own variety show on Facebook, where I would sing and dance and do comedy, stand-up comedy, during quarantine, because we were all locked up. Well, came closer and friends, and then they invited me out here to Las Vegas, because they live here. And they invited me out here to Las Vegas when I turned 21, because I was in Louisiana, in New Orleans, is where I'm from, and we'll get to that. But they invited me to come out here because a hurricane had just hit there, and it was my 21st birthday, and there was nothing to do. So, and I had just lost 2 homes in that hurricane. My parents, both of my childhood homes, we had lost. I was okay because I had an apartment, but my childhood homes had gotten lost. And so what then happened was I came out here and we hit it off, and then I came another visit, and now they're the ones who persuaded me to move out here. They told me, well, you have to come and you have to entertain. So right now, goes along with how dreams can just come true when you really want something and truly believe in yourself and pray that you can get it. Right now, I'm actually sitting on their property in Debbie Reynolds' house. So this is Debbie's.
What?
So this is Debbie's living room.
What? Oh my God.
To give
Oh
her.
my God, that's the best story ever.
I mean, am I blessed or what? I'm so freaking lucky. I pinch myself when I wake up, it's insane. So they're really good friends of mine. I've been staying here with them, and now I'm about to move into my new place out here since I moved here. But for the past couple of months, they've been gracious enough to have me here with them. And it's just really a blessing because, I get to be really in my idol space. So when people ask me how I learn, I always joke, but it's true. I went to the school of Debbie Reynolds.
Gee, wow. Oh my gosh.
So
let's go back to your roots. I mean,
yes.
That's incredible. That blows I only have one other story. I won't tell you now. I'll tell you another time.
Okay.
That blows my mind equally to that, not better. But I won't go into that. So let's go back to you as a little kid.
Okay.
What were you like at home in kindergarten and first grade?
So I'm from a town called Cutoff, Louisiana, which I always joke is cut off from civilization. But and
you don't mean like cut off like a Jewish mohel.
No, well, they did that too. So everybody was cut off. I call it Circumcision City. And so, but when I was a little kid, from what I remember, I was very imaginative. I was very different. I always liked to act out scenes and dress up and play scenes. But I remember being very different. It's funny because my friend Kat that I was just telling you about, we were out at brunch earlier, and I was telling her about, growing up in a small town. We were just talking about it. And when I was a kid, I was very different. I didn't have a lot of good, friends that I could relate to. Because in the South, everybody plays a sport or they hunt or they fish. And, that's what they want to do. Go for it. But I wasn't getting my stilettos wet. So, so I didn't want to do that. But I always loved dressing up, and I love sparkly things. And I loved all of that stuff. I was really enamored, and I loved old Hollywood movies. The Wizard of Oz, The Sound of Music. Yeah, I know, right? The Unsinkable Molly Brown, Singing in the Rain. Debbie was in that too, Singing in the Rain. And so I love that stuff. There was something about it that fascinated me. And when I was a kid, in kindergarten, and kindergarten, I remember being just I was always creative. I was always playful. I couldn't pay attention in class. I get in trouble a lot because I never paid attention. I was always like, in the clouds somewhere, but I never was there because I was always, in a small town, I was bored. So I didn't, know much to do. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you this quick story. My first acting role ever, because I grew up in the Catholic Church and I went to a private school. And my first role ever was we did the nativity, which is like, Jesus in the manger. And I wanted to play the Virgin Mary. They wouldn't give it to me. I was pissed. I was robbed, I tell you, I was robbed. so, and so I played the cow. They casted me as the cow, which also pissed me off because I wasn't cow number one, I was cow number two. So that really upset me. Right? Exactly. Really. But so so then when I was in first grade, I kind of that I remember being the time that things were kind of, because it's a very delicate age for a child, any child. And I remember when I was young like that, I was bullied a lot. I was really bullied for being different, and it had nothing to do with my sexuality. When you're in first grade, you don't really know your sexuality. I mean, you don't. I thought, everybody was cute. Why not? And then some of them I thought looked like dogs. I didn't I didn't care about, boys or anything like that, or even girls. So I was just different. I didn't fit in with the in crowd. And I was very, very imaginative. And so that's what it was like. But I was, I had my fair share of, issues with dealing with kids and the bullies on the playground and all that stuff. But what, the one thing that they weren't was funny. And I knew I was funny. And that was my superpower, kind of my first superpower before anything else. I knew I was really funny and witty, and I could make people laugh, which helped me.
Yes, absolutely. Did you fend off some people that wanted to bully you with comedy, with jokes?
Oh yeah. Well, because the thing is if I can make the joke about myself before you can, and I can make it funnier, then you have nothing to say.
Absolutely.
So therefore I win. So it was kind of like, it was fun for me. And, if I wasn't doing that, I was always like, singing and doing my little thing. But I was very shy as a kid, believe it or not. People don't believe that when I say it now. People say, when did you come out? And I say, when I came out the birth canal. But, but the truth is I really was shy as a kid. And I didn't, I didn't understand why I was different. It's so funny because I used to think when I was a kid, no joke, I used to look at my cousins. I had a lot of cousins, because who doesn't in the South? But I used to look at all my cousins and go, because, they were all sports athletes and they were all really, successful as a kid, in the sports, and their parents would always beam about them. And I never felt that I gave my parents anything to beam about as a kid. And I always used to say, God, I wish I could be lucky like them. Like, I wish I could, I really would. I didn't think, I really didn't. And now I realize, God, am I blessed, count them every day, and I don't take them for granted. But when I was a kid, I didn't know, I just knew I was different. That was my main thing.
Absolutely. So talk to me about growing up in New Orleans in the South and what all happened up until today. Put it in the trajectory and the order it happened, and just talk away. Who needs to interrupt you?
Oh no, you're not interrupting. You're giving me a direction. Well, growing up, let's see. So then when I was a kid, like I said, I loved old Hollywood. I loved the movies. I loved all that. And then that was in Cutoff, Louisiana. The names are going to start to throw people off, so I have to introduce. So let's see. So then after that, I went to high school. I went through middle school, and that was probably, for me, middle school through ninth grade were the toughest of times. Those were the really tough times for me. There were some very, very tough times, mainly because, so it's really fair to say, I mean, I joke, but it's really true. It sounds so silly when you think of it, but Debbie Reynolds, in a way, she's really saved my life, because that's who inspired me to say, wow, there is life outside of this small town, and there is something glamorous that you can look up to, and and that's my main thing about, why I love to tell that story and wanted to do the interview, so you can kind of see this all, because if you're in a bad place in life, there's nowhere you can be that you can't get out of. Nowhere. Wow. And that is really the main thing. And and I believed in that, and that really kept me going for quite a few years. And then when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I was in 8th grade, and I started doing musical theater. And my first part I ever got in the, this is the funny part. It's not like I ever got a glamorous first part. No, no, no. The cow was in the okay, we followed that. Now the first part we were doing Shrek the musical. And of course, I was thrilled because it was the leading role, but I got the part of Shrek. Yes, to which my father said, "Oh, well, that's not going to be hard. I've gotten an overweight kid and you're going to play an overweight ogre." So I thought that was nice. Because I was an overweight child. I mean, my God, my stroller had 18 wheelers on it. I mean, so, but in all seriousness, I started doing musical theater, and I really found a tribe of people that I connected with. I really found, I met a lot of great people through that. Some not so great, but you're not going to always meet the best. With the best come the worst, and you have to filter that out. And I have, some of them took longer than others, but you get through it. And so I did musical theater, and I think from the time I was 12 through my high school into my early college till I was about from the time I was 12 till about 19, I think I did 27 professional stage productions or some crazy number like that. I never stopped. I loved to work, so it wasn't work for me because I enjoyed it. And then the pandemic hit, and right before the pandemic happened, I hadn't really done much. I was an actor, and I sang and I did comedy, but on the stage. And so I would say maybe 2 months, 3 months before the pandemic hit, I started doing stand-up. And I was like, oh my God, you mean I get to just be me on a stage? I mean, I love acting, but the fact that I get to just be me and dress how I want, because for a good part, I'll take all the makeup and the nails off, but this is kind of my comfort look. I mean, really, I go to the mailbox in full hair and makeup. So it's no joke. And so I started doing stand-up comedy, and then the pandemic hit, of course. And then I went on my Facebook page to start doing Facebook Lives during quarantine, because you couldn't perform in front of people. So I said, well, I'll bring the entertainment to them. But it was very hard because I had never really done anything like that with just myself before. And like I said, growing up in musical theater, I had really great people around me, but I had some people that really, you have people that are, how do I say it politely? Well, let's just say it. It might as well. We're live. Let's just say it, Linda. But you narcissists. So when you're surrounded by people who feed your brain and they're older than you and making you feel that you're not talented, sometimes you lose belief in yourself.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic happened, it was kind of the best thing for me because I went into myself a little bit to be able to say, one of my favorite phrases that Debbie Reynolds uses in this musical, The Unsinkable Molly Brown. Now, all the young people out there, now I'm giving you homework. You have to go and watch these things. But she sings a song called I Ain't Down Yet. And so I kind of had that thought, well, if she can do it, I can. And so, and again, I was 20, I was 19. And so I started on Facebook, and I started doing songs and doing jokes and doing impressions, and built up an act for about a year. And then when things in New Orleans, now at this point I was in college in New Orleans, Louisiana. I had moved out of the small town into the sort of big city, but it's a great city. And I met a lot of great people. And then I started doing I started open mics out there. And this guy who was a show producer of this cute little club in a bar came up to me and said, you should have your own show. And of course, the ham I am opens my purse. And I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I have the manuscript right here. So because that time in quarantine really gave me time to work on it. So I opened my show in May of 2021. I call it my nightclub act. And it's a variety show. It's very Vegas, which I love. And it's, very entertainment. And I sing and I do stand up and I do impressions and I wear sequins, and it's a lot of fun. So I really, I love doing it. And so I opened that and I did that and really I performed the night before I drove out to Vegas, I performed for 2 years, well, a year and a half straight. And now we're here.
Oh my gosh,
So,
I bet audiences have just adored you.
oh, well, I love people. And so I think the really great thing about me, if I may say so, something I'm very proud of about myself is I don't really play towards a demographic. I play towards everybody because I don't care. I don't care whatever you want to be. My thing, as long as you are a good, decent, moral human and you're kind to and loving to others, that's it. Politics, religion, out the door. It shouldn't matter. If you're a good human, that's what matters. And so I love people. So I want to perform in any way I can, whether that's through my comedy or my singing that I can move them, or even a silly, an impression that I do of a celebrity, whatever. That really gives me the most joy.
So when I see you on stage, I'm not saying I'm a visionary, but when I see you on stage, I told you I see a lot of Joan Rivers in your stand-up comedy, and it's so delightful. Do you do an impression of her, and to what extent?
I've never done an impression of her per se.
Oh,
I probably could if you give me a
yeah.
second to think of it. I mean, I could do one, but I never really, it's very funny because I think we share a lot in common as far as the stage persona goes. I mean, I heard she was a little rough off stage, so I'm not gonna. That's not
Yeah,
me.
that's not
But
you.
as far as the wearing the gaudy, look, I guess we definitely go for that. But I've always loved sparkly clothes. I mean, if you can actually see it right there, I think you can see that gold. That's one of Debbie's outfits from her Vegas show in her later years. And so I've always loved sparkles. So I think I just go towards any diva look, but I never did an impression of her. But I do in my show. I've done everybody from Liza Minnelli to Barbara Streisand. I do Cher. I do and Britney Spears, Jennifer Coolidge. I love doing divas. I love doing divas voices.
Oh my.
So because really the funny thing is most men who do impressions are normally do it of men, but I like to do the girls to make it a little different because I don't do the drag as far as that goes. Just because, oh my God, it's so painful. You have to tuck it in, and no. But I give all my I always say drag queens are some of the greatest warriors because to have to do all that and strap that and put it's my God.
You're very much your own self. And
Oh,
and I love that because you're so talking with you, I'm finding out just how unique you are and how centered and grounded you are. However, I'm gonna go Jiminy Glick on you.
give it to me.
You kind of sort of remind me a little bit of Liza and a little bit of Judy. Which one do you identify with most?
Probably, well, a Judy, probably.
That's what I was feeling. I was
I
feeling more Judy.
oh yeah, I identify with her. She had a tough childhood. She
Did
really,
she?
she had a really. Her mother put her into show business when she was 2.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time she was 16, she was already on cigarettes and pills from MGM. So she had a really tough go of it. So I didn't have that tough of a go of it, but I can relate to that striving for success and yet having people that you trust hurt you. I mean, not all the people I've ever trusted have hurt me, obviously, but I've had people that I've let in very, very close that, have hurt you. And I think all artists can relate to that. I think a lot, whether you're a comedian, a singer, whatever you are, an actor, certainly an actor, I think you can relate to that because that's what we are in show business. We can relate to every feeling because a lot of us have lived a lot of those feelings. And so I always say for every broken heart I've had some kind of a good success because it's driven me to, perform and do that. But so I relate to Judy and I relate to Liza too, but I do impressions of them both. So I guess I could relate to both.
That'd be funny to do an impression of them talking to each other. Do you do that?
Well, if I was going to do Liza, listen, Linda, you're terrific. I love you so much. You're just fabulous. And Mama, she would have loved you. Where's Mama? And then Judy, she just comes in and Judy's kind of more like this. And Liza, where are you? I don't know where I am. So she's a little bit more softer spoken than Liza. She sings, but she's a little bit more softer than Liza.
I love
So,
that.
oh,
I
thank you.
want I'm a huge fan of Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond. What do you have for Barbara?
Well, Barbara to sing, I normally have to rehearse a little bit more because she has a voice that's, up there. But let's see, I was going to do Barbara. Let me.
And
Hello, gorgeous. Hello, that's Barbara. Hello, gorgeous. She would sing, let's see if I could give you a little note. I have to sit up straight. Because she's really, she goes, people who need people, they're the luckiest people. She's in that nasal, but it's kind of like a bell. I normally get it better when I rehearse, but that was just for you, Linda.
thank you. Thank you. I love it. You know you're destined. Do you know you're destined for greatness? Do you
Oh,
feel
you were
it?
so kind. You were
No,
so kind.
I really feel it.
I received that very gratefully. Ever since I was a kid, I can say this. I knew when people asked me, I should have said that earlier when I was talking about my childhood. That was the one thing. People asked me as a kid what I wanted to do. I didn't know what the term singer or comedian really was, or an actor. So I always just said, I want to be a star, is what I said. And I do, but and not in the and I don't want to put anybody down who is a star, but not in the way that it's vampant, not in the way that it's just very, I want attention. I want to give to people. I want to mean something to people. I want to inspire people because, I'm somebody I was born in a very small town to very, very middle class parents. And I'm just the very beginning of my career. I haven't done an inch of the mountain that I want to do. But with the little I've done, that's what makes me motivated to keep going and doing more. So I just say, if God's going to give it to me, then I'm given that responsibility to give back to everybody else. I ask every day to just let me, through God and through all my angels that watch over me, I always just say, let me give to people what they need to feel from me through my dreams, through my entertaining, through my all of that. So it's really gratifying, to hear that. I really appreciate it because it means a lot. I love to entertain, and well, people like me, then I'm just grateful. I
Yes.
really am, and I love them. So it really, it's an energy thing. It's a connection thing. The world, you were only given so much time on this planet, and it's an interesting thing to think about, because the one thing that we have in common is the inevitable, that we'll all go to that great spiritual plane one day. And I don't plan to go until I'm 109, so there's that. But I have a lot to do. I have a lot to do, but when I do, I want anybody who can look back and say, wow, that's a great life. And I want that kind of a life where I can do anything just to bring joy and happiness to and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be just in show business. It can be whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, although I haven't had many lawyers that have brought me happiness, but but if that brings them happiness. So oh, are we back? Okay, there we are. Sorry about that. And so anywho, that's just what I do. So if I'm destined for what I want and for all my dreams to come true the way I want them to, then I'm just be sure that I'm going to give as much as I get.
Absolutely. Let's talk about karma. I know that you spoke about your faith, and sometimes people of faith don't believe in karma, but I feel like you probably do because you're a good person, you mentioned. So let's talk about the importance of
Sure.
being good and keeping your karma clear so good things do happen.
Well, I'm somebody, I don't do good to get good.
No.
I try good to just be good.
Yeah.
And whatever good comes my way, I'm really grateful for it. And I take all of that in stride, because I don't take any of it for granted. But I believe in karma. I mean, I certainly don't. There are certain things that, I'm human just like everybody else, as we all are. So there are certain times that I've done something and something's happened to me and I'm like, Oh, okay. I hear you. I know why that happens. I've had my karma happen to me, both good and bad, I guess. I mean, sometimes I really don't know what I've done to deserve some of the good that's happened. I mean, really, I'm just so grateful for it. But I bring good to people, and I've always been that way. So I always promise, that whatever is going to be brought to me, like I said, you can promise I'm going to give it right back. And so as far as karma goes, though, I believe in it. Absolutely. I think that, um, I think it's there, and it's the proof is in the pudding. There are things that have happened that, I'm not somebody who ever wants to hurt anybody, but if I've ever had, a friendship issue with a friend and there's been some hurt on both sides, sure, I've definitely had things that have happened to me. It could be a flat tire, and I'm like, oh, well, I deserved that with the way talked to them yesterday. But
Absolutely.
so I believe in it, but I that's my big thing. I really don't try to do good to get good. I just do good to be good. And then whatever good comes my way, I'm grateful for it. And then through that, I can I can do it. I don't know if you can hear, there's a rooster crowing out there, if you can hear, but they have pet chickens. My god chickens. I just love them. They're so cute.
I would think that Debbie herself, Debbie Reynolds would love that.
What?
That there's chickens there.
Oh, she loved now. My friend Kat, Debbie's daughter-in-law, she had a little pet chicken. His name was Nugget, and he was this little pocket rooster. I never met him, but there's so many pictures of Debbie and his arms. She just loved
Oh,
chicken.
oh my gosh.
So
Now, speaking of old movies,
yeah,
since you and I are both buffs, who do you think I love the most from the old era of
that
movies?
era.
Mhm.
Hmm. I'm trying to think. Because you see, now that we've compared you to Betty Davis, I feel like you love her a lot, but that's not your favorite.
Mm-mm.
Are you
I
a,
don't look like her, I don't act like her, but
are you
she's
an is it I feel like it's like either Audrey Hepburn or Marilyn.
Audrey.
Audrey, is it Audrey?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved her. Oh, she's just now that was a lady. I mean, really, she had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love Audrey Hepburn. Love her.
me too. I don't know if you've ever read up on her, what she did in World War II to help.
Yes. With the she saved so the troops, she would bring them food, and she would, and run, and I forget if it was a family member that was in the army or something like that was in, the resistance, and but she would help them from not sneak things so the Nazis wouldn't see them.
Yes. My family went through the Holocaust,
Did they?
and only one of them survived, my
Oh
dad.
my. Oh, God bless that. Well, my love and just good energy to you, because that is, wow, that's something. And so your dad was the only survivor. Wow, and you're here.
Because of
Look at
the US troops.
because of the US troops. I tell you, anybody who I'm really big on that. As a matter of fact, I used to do a number in my show. I did I would do, because I like to sing all kinds of music. I'm very, very blessed in the way that my voice can kind of do pop, Broadway, country, and classics and jazz. And so I used to do the Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy in my act for the troops, because and my big joke was like, I love performing under the American flag. Of course, I love performing more under the men who represent it. But
Exactly.
but anyway, but in all seriousness, no, I love the troops. I think it's really great. That's actually on my dream list. I would love to play the Korea or anywhere that I can go um do. And that was a dream I didn't even realize I had. I just one day thought of it, and I'm like, I really want to do that. Like, they deserve that.
Yeah,
You know,
you gotta
they really
go.
deserve. They really deserve.
They've invited me to go twice now, and I'm going in June.
Oh, that's so fun. You must let me know how that goes. Oh,
I
that is.
will. I'll take
Oh.
notes and pictures and everything. You've got to go.
Well, I want to whenever I get the chance to. You bet I'm going.
Yeah.
You
Oh my
bet I am
gosh.
going.
I have asked anybody that I've interviewed, and they've said that you know, they book USO tours. I've gone back and hit them up and hit them up, and
Yeah,
finally I got invited.
that is fantastic. I'm thrilled for you. You know what? Send me. after we get off, we'll talk and send me that info because I'd love to know where to do the sign up for all that at, because they especially love they especially love comedians. I know that because
And
those
you're
guys.
a full entertainer. You could do the whole show. Are you kidding
Well,
me?
I'll perform for 2 paper boxes. I mean, my God, I love performing, so I'll do it for them. I'll do anything they ask of me. I won't strip.
What?
I won't strip.
No, no.
I won't do that. I'll just get them all, riled up, and then I'll take it off, and then they thought, oh, it's a boy. We thought it was a girl.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. But
So you've
yeah.
been doing entertaining of all kinds, and in what way have you been fortunate enough to give back to people behind you coming through?
Oh gosh. That's a
Because
really
I
good.
think that's important for people to hear.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this much. I've never, I mean, I certainly at this point in my life, and I'm only 22, like I say, so I don't really think that I have the, what's the word? Knowledge and experience as far as being able to mentor per se, because I am still learning every rope that I can. But as far as anything that I've been able to help with, I've always, well, one thing that I've always done on my shows, I've always had guests come on, guest performers. So while I'll do a costume change or an outfit change, I've always had somebody do 5, 6 minutes, even just that, whether it's a comedian or a singer or anybody. Some of them have been A-grade professional that have years of experience on me, and some of them are people who I just have seen, and I'm like, you're really funny. You need to be on this with me. I said there was one girl who was a dear friend of mine. She's a brilliant actress, but she had never done stand-up comedy on the stage before. And she did a bit in my shows back in New Orleans, and she did a bit in my show, and it was about how one time she took edibles or something before marching in a marching parade with a bunch of girls, and she had the music on behind it, so she was reenacting it for the audience, and she did the whole 7 or 8 minutes, whatever it was, to music, had it timed like that. Brilliant. Brilliant. I told her, I said, some of the most funniest stuff I've ever seen. And so I think in any way that you can share the spotlight is the most important thing. Share the spotlight or share the knowledge and the craft. Like my friend Catherine Hicklin that I was telling you about, she's celebrity hypnosis, but she's also been an actress, an author, an entrepreneur, a singer. I mean, she's just everything, and she's great. And she has mentored me so much, into learning of the business, because it's so important that people remember when you want your dreams, you have to, I mean, one of my favorite quotes is dreams are like a caterpillar. They're never going to fully form until you give them wings like a butterfly. So you have to remember that you have to work, and it's hard work, and I know my hardest working days are ahead of me, not behind me. But if you want it bad enough and you're willing to learn bad enough and to listen and to, that's the way to go. So anybody who I can ever give a chance to share the spotlight with, that's just what I love to do, because I love people and I love talented people, and people have done that for me. So it's very gratifying to be able to, pass on the love, as I call it.
Absolutely. We're kind of getting near the end of this magical
Oh
time.
no, I'm so sad. We must do it again.
We have to do it again. You have to come back. Anytime you want to come on and plug anything going on, or have a different facet of your life, or
Yeah.
a show coming up, anything, or even bring Catherine Hicklin,
Yeah.
bring her on, and the two of you can chat and
Oh, that'd be
banter.
great. Yeah, we'll figure something out. I love this. I mean, you are just such a fabulous lady. I love your stage presence on stage, by the way, because I know we haven't told everybody, I guess, how we met yet, or maybe we did, but we met doing, just doing the mics and doing walking the pavement, as I call it. And I just love your stage presence, because I love anybody who is different, obviously, but I really love it mainly because I think it's just really great to, when you be yourself, everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. And I'm blessed that I've learned that at 22, because there are some people 3 times my age who haven't learned it. So if there's any message I can relay, it's that, the two things I'd love to relay is be yourself, love yourself, and the other one being follow your dreams and follow your goals and manifestation. You're talking karma, that comes along with the word manifestation. That it's a thing. If you can see it and believe it, you can be it. You just have to believe it,
Absolutely.
and do it and do
Yes,
it.
yes.
So,
You have the oldest soul. Talking to a 22-year-old, like I'm 72, and I feel like we're on the same plane.
you are not 72.
March 19th, 72.
Well, I have dyslexia, so you're 27 in my book.
Perfect. I love that. Tell people where to follow you.
Where to follow me. Okay, so now we're gonna have to do a little spell along here because my last name is Robichaux. Now it's Southern, so I know, bear with me, but I wouldn't change it because I said this is my family name and I have to keep that because I wanted to change it to my middle name one time and call it a Seth Michael. Seth Michaels is my middle name is Michael, and I said that sounds like a porn star. So, so it's Seth. So you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and I sometimes I tweet, but I don't really tweet. But TikTok, I do TikTok or TikTok or whatever the hell it is. And it's so much to keep up with, Linda. So much to keep up. But so anyway, it's a Seth Robichaux, SethRobichaux. Seth Robichaux. And so think like a robe, show. I'm the show. There's no business like show business.
Is that Ethel Merman there?
That is Ethel Merman. I can't do her. I was just doing me, but there's no business like show business. So go on with the show,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But
where are you going to be performing coming up? Do you have people snagging you for shows?
No, I don't, because I just started pounding the pavement literally when I met you, 4 weeks ago? So I do have, you go on my social media, I'm in the talks with doing some shows, so that there will be a few little things coming up. But until then, you just follow me on social media, and if you want to snag me up, hello.
You're really, truly the total package entertainer and a star. And you need your own show. You need your residency. You need to you're going to send this town upside down.
Well, thank you. I really received that and I appreciate it. And whatever is on the road for me, I'm just ready for it. But I mean, so far, really, so far I've been very blessed. So I want to, as much as I can, give blessings to other people through entertaining and through being, or even just any kind of inspiration I can be. That just makes me really happy. So I hope so.
It's so nice to have somebody else at Wise Guys where we met. It's so nice to have somebody else there that totally lights up the room with her presence. That's my goal, is to leave people feeling better having seen me. And you do that.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot to me. I really try to do that. And that's just, and my life is just so funny. It's just so funny. I mean, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you think these are jokes, but this is all true. I mean, I can't make this shit up,
No,
it's so funny.
It writes itself.
Yeah, it's so funny and it's so fabulous, and it's so I'm really I'm a blessed individual, and I love every minute of life. I think it's important that everybody does, and just know that if you don't like where you're at now, you can change it. It's never too late. I mean, Colonel Sanders, for Christ's sakes, it was 84 when he made KFC.
I got to meet him.
No, you did not.
I was doing a float for my high school in 1969. And the float next to us was Kentucky Fried, and he came by and gave everybody chicken.
Oh my God, that is great. That's a great story.
That's the truth.
I love it. Well, the truth is, that's the good thing. That's the thing about comedy is very simple. It's the truth of your life. And because everybody has interesting, especially comedians, for some reason the bug just finds the interesting people. So every comedian has something interesting to talk about. So it's just a matter of going out there and, like we do, to the open mics. And I will probably be 80 years old. I'm joke with you not. I will probably be 80 years old, and of course selling my jewelry line on QVC, because what else? And
Yes.
but I will probably be 80 years old and still going to open mics, because it's the best place to work out your material, because if you screw up, you're not getting paid, you're not on the clock, you don't have to worry, you know?
Yes.
And so it's really fun. But I'm thrilled that I met you. I'm so thrilled, and I'm just honored that I hope I answered all your questions that you had here. And I hope
Yes. Seth Robichaux, you guys, you need Robichaux, right?
Robichaux, you got it, Robichaux.
You've got to follow Seth Robichaux. You got to go and find out where in the world he's performing, and you got to see him on stage. He's an entertainer. He's not just a comedian. He's not just a singer. He just doesn't do impersonation. He's a total star package.
Oh, bless you. That's so kind. Well, thank you. And I just can't wait to keep doing what I'm doing, and doing it on the side of you.
Thank you so much. I'll see you around.
Thank you, doll. I will see you around soon, and let's do this again soon. I had such a ball.
Yes, let's talk about that. Bye.
All right. Bye, honey.
Love you. Bye.